Now, in terms of Nigeria's GDP, oh my God, looks like I've gone past 10 minutes. In terms of Nigeria's GDP, a lot of work going here. As you can see, this is our GDP numbers. The government wants us to hit 1 quadrillion naira because, I mean, if you use 1,000 naira to dollar, that's essentially what it is. So $1 trillion in GDP. We're currently at 225 or so trillion naira in terms of GDP. So it's going to take a lot of work to get there. But one question for everybody. If this exchange rate was 220 to the dollar, wouldn't we have been at $1 trillion already? It's always something that just pops in my mind. But anyway, let's go on. So in terms of policy actions, monetary policy reforms, you've seen a lot of that. You've seen a lot of efforts to attract foreign investors. They are continuing the Buhari administration's agri sector reforms, albeit in a different form. We're seeing a lot of diversification away from crude oil audio because we're not really seeing the full action in place. We still rely a lot on crude oil here in Nigeria. They're trying to harness with crude oil sector reforms. We've seen implementation of AFCA a little bit slow, but I think these are some of the things that they require to drive Nigeria's GDP forward. Infrastructure and construction projects, I think this is going to be one huge area that you see economic growth come from. And of course, there's a lot of IT initiatives, whether it's a natural AI strategy or 3MTT, cloud computing. These are all efforts, drawn towards pushing the economy forward. And you also see a lot of focus on local manufacturing and, of course, lastly, banking sector reforms that the government, not just the central bank, believes should be the key driver of Nigeria attaining the $1 trillion economy that we want. Now, this is just a little bit of an idea of what Nigerian economy has, what our GDP has looked like over 3 essential periods. So this is 2016, this is 2022, and this is 2023. And as you can see, in 2016, trade was like the number one, the largest sector in the economy. But trade has been toppled by crop production ever since. So crop production is now 42. So it's gone from 18 to 42. Now, why do you think that is happening? That is also because of a lot of the focus of the government. So when government focuses a lot on one sector, you tend to see that sector grow. And so you've seen crop production sort of doubled and is the largest in the economy after 2020. Even after 2023, you're seeing at 47. Trade still growing, but not as huge as crop production. Nigeria is basically a service-based economy. And then you've seen telcos. Telcos used to be 8.5 trillion. Telco just recently toppled construction at 25.2 trillion. So you can see tech is huge in terms of how Nigerian economy is growing. And then construction, which is also another sector that has seen huge growth at 22.1 trillion. So look at all of this and ask yourself, which sectors do you think is going to lead Nigeria in the next 5 years? Which ones are going to be the top 5 or top 10? My bet, looking at education, I think education is going to be a huge mover. Cement is going to be a huge mover. Financial institutions with this bank recapitalization going on is going to be a huge mover. You want to check out that sector. Electricity sector as well, likely going to be a huge mover. And so these are the sectors that I think are going to see huge growth over the last few years. I mean, think about it. Look at education sector, just 3.1 trillion in terms of size. You think that this would also grow. So this is Nigeria, and you can see things change. See how it was. Cement was just 20 after 2016 at just less than 700 billion. But look at where cement is today at 7 trillion in less than 10 years. So these things do happen, and expect to see a different composition of Nigeria's GDP in the next 10 years. So